Sometimes when you play a game, you'll get to the end of it and you'll think that was a completely serviceable and fine experience, and it might have had some good mechanics in it, but you kind of feel that they've never really been fully explored, and then the game didn't have enough character to kind of make you feel like it was a memorable game that will leave a lasting impression afterwards. And that's exactly how I feel after playing More Dark. It's a 2D puzzle platformer that's available for consoles and PC, and it's a PlayStation 4 version you're seeing on your screens. And when I finished it, I kind of thought that was very okay, but it didn't really push the boundaries on anything that it offered, despite it having some quite nice theming and some good ideas. And that's a real shame. More Dark is all about pushing blocks around a screen so that you can then trap and or lay a path to kill enemies by then jumping on them afterwards. There's 60 levels in total, and every 6 or 7 levels or so a new mechanic is pulled into the mix. But because of this quick turnover of mechanics to try and keep you entertained, what you find is that the puzzles don't really evolve at a rate that means that the previous mechanic was really explored to its fullest. And whilst mechanics do kind of reoccur and pop up again later on in the game, it's not really until the final third of the game experience where any kind of challenge beyond a look back and stare at the screen for 5 seconds to work out the order of what you need to do really becomes apparent. And that's a shame, because actually there's quite a lot here. You'll start off with these blocks that you'll just have to kind of push around. And my first kind of main bugbear of this game is that I kept forgetting that you could only push, you can't pull anything. And so I'd keep moving stuff up against a wall and then going, for God's sake, and having to like reset the level and go again. And that happened way more than I care to admit. And also I must admit, actually, I found the platforming side of this game to be a bit stiff. Particularly on jumps, because your guy can't really jump very high or very far, and I kept overestimating what he could do. Later on you do unlock a double jump, which is helpful, but level design is kind of taking that into account, so he's still quite stiff, but it's just you now can kind of see, oh, that's where I double jump here, if that makes sense. But what you'll be doing is pushing these blocks around so that you can then either drop them on top of someone or kind of smash them into a corner, because once the enemies are then all cleared, the door opens and then you can move back. Very quickly, it then opens up screen warping. So you'll move off the left screen and appear on the right. And all of the level design from there on in is based around that mechanic. And then it will just add in different things into the mix so that you'll have like bombs that you can then drop on explodable blocks, which can then open hatches for you to then push movable blocks through and then maybe drop through yourself. And quite often it's around building staircases so that you can then kind of move up and down or across to kind of methodically work your way through the enemies, but then still have blocks in place to then reach the exit. Most levels just take a couple of glances for you to kind of look at, but it's not until, as I said, the last 20 where you kind of have to sit there and think, right, I now really need to kind of work it out in my bonds. I think if I was to give recommendations for this as a future sequel, it needs someone else to input into puzzle designs, because whoever built the puzzle designs, once you've worked out that they have a method to their madness of how each level is designed, you can unpick them all very quickly. It needed some variety in how the puzzles are set up. Exploring the same mechanics, it didn't need more different things to throw at you, it just needed variation on how you go around doing something. And I find this quite a lot with some indie platformers, particularly if they're doing random generation and they put in their own rules. These are handcrafted levels, but they all kind of focus around the same couple of ideas. So that's More Dark. Not high on my recommendation list, but perfectly functionable for those of you that are fans of the genre. Take care all. Bye for now. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.